Hello, hello. Here we are. It is a Wednesday and we are here. Always exciting to be back. And I have a very special day today because I get to chat with one of my good friends who is a designer who we are featuring this month. So hopefully you've been checking her out, following her, and everything else. So we're going to get to chat with her today. I'm seeing some people come on in, so say hello where you're watching from. It's always great to have you guys here. Yeah, and so today is Wednesday, normal day. This is the last one for the week. We'll be back again next week, just so everybody knows. But yeah, so we're going to be chatting today. I do want to talk to you guys real quick in case anybody didn't see us live yesterday. This is a bandana cowl that I put together using our array yarn. And so you can see just how beautiful that looks when it is worked up. It's just a simple granny stitch. We can talk about this another time. And then I added a row here and here of Tough Puff. You could do it in the same color, but I just picked two colors that were kind of found in here. And then one stripe on the outside. It's got a great little button that just uses the holes of the granny stitch to kind of hold it together. Super simple, but it's using one hank of array and then using like an additional color of Tough Puff or two if you've got them laying around. So just wanted to share in case you were interested in grabbing one of the Tough Puffs while you're on the site. So good morning, Joy. Good morning, Julia. Good morning, Lee. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning. Oh, Joy, I said good morning. It's so great to see you guys all here and have you joining us live. Thank you so much for joining. So, okay, so you already know who my special guest is. So let's just bring her on in here and start chatting. My friend today is Brianna.
Hi, so exciting. I mean, we
Yes,
were just together not too long ago, so
I
always
know.
good to see you.
I know. I was very lucky to get to spend some time, one-on-one quality time with Brianna and some other great designers. And it's always fun getting to work with them and hearing what they have going on and doing some planning together. So there's always
Yeah,
lots of stuff coming up and ways that we can work together. So we're so excited.
I
Um,
know.
so if you didn't know, Brianna is our designer spotlight, our featured designer, whatever you want to call her, during in our We Collaborate program that's going on. So this month is kind of all about her and what she's got going on. And so she graciously agreed to come and join us here on the live to talk even more about her and her business. And we're so
Don't give me a
excited.
big head. Yeah, don't give me a big head or anything here.
Yeah, I'll try not to.
Okay.
Before we jump into everything, let's just get it out there. What are you wearing? We need to know all about that cardigan that you're wearing right now.
So this is the new Diamond Cardigan. This hit the WeCrochet website this month. And the really cool thing about this cardigan is I loved it so much because it's such a simple flat construction, really easy to do. So whether you're an advanced crocheter or a beginner crocheter who's never done a garment, this really is one to try. But I went to the WeCrochet website and I found three very, very different yarns I wanted to make it in for a reason. So this first off is the Shine. This is on sale this month. This is 20% off on the WeCrochet site. The yarn is. And the Shine was the kind of the one where I wasn't as confident with because I hadn't really made a garment with Shine yet. I'd done blankets and really liked them, but I live in Florida. So if you live in a warmer climate, sometimes those cotton blends can feel a bit better in that, really, really strong humidity. But whenever you go shopping in Florida and you walk into a store, it's cold. So it's like you're either going to be super, super hot or you're going to be cold, which is why we take cardigans wherever we go. If we're going to run into the grocery store or Target, you'll want to take something with you. So this is very lightweight. I love it. And even though I knew I probably would like it in Shine, I actually like it more than I realized. I will be making more garments with Shine. It has the best drape, I would say, out of all three of these. The drape is absolutely gorgeous, and it's so, so, so comfortable to wear. So if you're thinking cotton, don't think cotton that you're going to scrub your countertop with. This is a very soft cotton. This is a high-end cotton that's going to be great against your skin. It's so, so, so soft. I love it.
Yeah, and I love too how in this project, which guys, I just put the link into the chat so you can get this pattern, the cardigan she's wearing, and I also put the link to all of her patterns so you can check that out. But this particular cardigan, Brianna did in 3 different yarns. kind of
Very
show you
different.
how you can alter things by changing the weight, by changing the yarn that you're using. So the gray one she's wearing is in the Shine, which
Yep.
again is on sale.
Sport weight.
We'll grab that link for you. And then you also made 2 other versions. Do you just want to kind of show us? Because again, you can grab
Yeah.
both of these yarns too over
And
on
you
the
can
site we're shopping.
all these yarns are on the WeCrochet site, and you can jump on over to the listing Katelyn just did to see the different versions of them. But this is Brava Sport. So I went from a cotton that has a really, really great drape to a really nice premium acrylic, which is going to have a slightly different drape. Not disappointed in the results at all. I also made this one longer, so it's really customizable. This is a crop that I'm wearing, and this one is a longer cardigan. And they look different. Obviously, they look different, but they both have a great finished look. And then I went really bold and I grabbed some of that new Lion Brand color theory that's on the WeCrochet site, and I went with a worsted. So yeah, worsted, sport, and sport. The reason why is sometimes when yarns are labeled a certain way, I kind of think, well, that seems like a thickness or a softness that I could try. So just to show you, I wanted to try because one of the number one questions I get asked is, can I substitute? And people will send me like, can I substitute this yarn or this yarn? And I will hear about yarns all over the world that I've never tried. So sometimes it's hard for me to say like, well, I don't know if you can use that yarn because I've never even worked with it. But I want to tell people yes every time. So I wanted to show why, if you're saying, can I substitute? Yes, just match gauge. If you can match gauge and you like the drape, that's key, and you like the drape, you can substitute. And for this one, when I tried to match my gauge, I was about 1 stitch over. And this is what I wrote about with this pattern is in a 4-inch swatch, I had just about 1 stitch too many stitches, but I liked the drape. So instead of adjusting my tension or adjusting my hook size, I was like, I kind of want an oversized one. So I was happy with that. I knew it would come out slightly larger, but it's such an easy construction. It's a cardigan. It's not, doesn't have to be tight or fitted. I wanted something really comfy and cozy, and this one looks great as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and you would have only known that about the cardigan and how it was gonna turn out by doing your gauge
gauge
swatch. Like,
swatch.
that's
Yes.
why it's so important, and you really can kinda switch it up and do whatever yarn you wanna use. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder if you're working in a worsted weight and you wanna use a fingering,
Yeah.
but you could hold a fingering double and see if your gauge gets close to the worsted, because again, everybody uses their hooks slightly differently. They
Yeah.
tension their yarn slightly differently, and so it can make a huge difference because I've worked a lot of Brianna's patterns and I am never the same
Yeah.
gauge as she is with the same hook and even the exact same yarn. I've always got to play with my hook size, but that's okay because it
Yeah.
ends up fitting me the way we want it to fit. And that's what counts, not what yarn
Yes.
you're using, not what hook you're using. Does
Gauge
it fit
swatch.
and does it drape?
Does it drape? Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why when we go to the WeCrochet site, like if you're because I who doesn't love a sale? I mean, we all love a sale. But if you're over there and they're like, hey, this month, which I'm sure next month you might feature a different yarn than Shine. And you might be like, well, you know what? I love that yarn. It's on sale. I might as well stock up. I might as well buy it. What am I going to use it for? Don't be afraid to see a pattern and say, I think this yarn would fit this project. Let me whip up a little gauge swatch, see where we're at, see if I like the drape, see where I'm at with stitches, and then go for it. That's why yarn sales are so great. You just have to be
Yeah.
flexible with, doing your gauge swatch a bit. You got to do that gauge swatch.
Yes. Lee said that she already got the cardigan and she's getting started on it today. We cannot wait.
Oh,
Lee, what yarn are you going to be using? Tell us all about it. Are you going
yeah,
crop? Are you going long? Let us know. Yeah. And, too, being able to swatch is such a great thing. And if you have leftover yarn, like the little balls, save them, label them so that you can swatch. Because as Brianna knows, when I was with her, I was starting a sweater and I was doing my gauge swatch and yeah, totally not working. I'm like, hey, do you have a ball of this? And
yeah.
so
We were struggling. Yeah,
I was able to switch around my hook, my yarn, and everything else to find the perfect fit for a pattern just using some leftover yarn. So
yep.
we did put the link in there also for the yarn sale for Shine if you want to go and grab it so you can make your cardigan as well. Let's see. Elaine says, oh, such talent. Talking
Oh,
about you,
thank
Brianna.
you.
So, yeah. Dawn says she's a loose crocheter and sometimes goes down 2 or 3 sizes.
Yeah,
Exactly. But you've got
right.
to match the gauge so that you know your size is going to fit.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question for you. So Joy wants to make this cardigan. Never made garments before. Wants to make the cardigan longer in shine. Pattern doesn't indicate how much more yarn I would need. How do you figure it out? Or how do you estimate how much more you should be grabbing when you're purchasing?
So I don't remember this. I think I wrote a percentage down as I was weighing each one of these. I think it was like 20 to 30% more or less, depending if you were how much length you were going to add. And that can percentages sometimes are easier than going by, this much for this size because um, the more yardage a cardigan starts with, the more you're going to need percentage wise in the end. So percentages work great on that. As far as the length for this and knowing how much yarn to buy, I ended up the yardage that you see on this particular pattern is the size that goes to like mid length. So I'm wearing a crop. This is like just at the top of your hips. And then this one's going to be a bit longer. So the one I put in the yardage, the way I calculated it was the mid length so that you could either purchase less yarn or more yarn and think about 20 to 30% in there. So these, each one of these balls will go a long way. So it's not like you need to buy a ton more yarn sometimes to make it much longer than this. And when you are making the cardigan, because this is made flat, when you start that first piece, you're making it from the back to the front and then it seams all together. You can kind of look at, I have a video for this if you want to watch the video before starting it. That's a great way to see the construction of it. But when you're making the back, once you get to the length that you want, you could hold it up. Like you're really just making a rectangle and you hold it up to like, okay, this is my underarms. This is how long it's going. Plus then I'll have a bit more for the ribbing. And you can decide what works best for you. Because if I were also to go to a pattern and say, this is exactly where it's going to hit you, that would be wrong because everybody is different. Like I have a really long torso, and not everyone does. So, and maybe mine's like really weird, but everyone's different. And so sometimes like I might have to have more length to shirts if I don't want to like wear a belly shirt. So it depends on your body because we're going to have different lengths to our waist, to our hips, to like, mid thigh. So I always like to hold that up to see like where does it fit you best as well before you keep going, because however you make in the back, you'll do the exact same amount of rows in the front and they'll match up in the end. So it's really important, I think, as you're making garments to hold them up to you, because the length from the underarm to your waist is going to be different for everybody. There's an average and I go by averages, but my waist from underarm is going to be different than probably anyone else's.
Right. All right. There's also a comment in here, kind of changing the subject, but Cherie said, I made Brianna's pumpkin mug rugs so cute. So
Oh,
those
they're
you can
fun.
find over on the link that we put in there with all of her patterns. There's a couple mug rugs in there that you can go ahead and make too, which is perfect when you've got leftovers. You can go ahead and make
Yeah.
those small projects as well. So
Gift
uh,
them, perfect time of year. Introduction to color work, because you might say I have a lot of color work projects because I love color work. So
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
small
awesome.
project.
Okay, so let's switch gears just a little bit. I mean, we love the cardigan and everything else, but I want to make sure we can cover everything.
Yep.
And so I want to switch gears a little bit and let's just tell people a little bit about you, because just in case there's somebody who's not here, maybe you could tell us just a little bit how you got started in crochet and your designing journey. And yeah, just share with who you are. And we'll also be putting links into the description as well as to how you can get to Brianna's website so that you can follow along with her on all of the social platforms and things like that as well. So you can check that out in the comments and in the description too. So how did you get started in crochet?
Right? Well, I think I started the way it starts for a lot of new moms. I grew up learning to crochet, some here and some there, but then, as a teenager, I didn't really grab onto it. And then when I had my first son, I wanted to create something really cute for like a newborn photo shoot. And I failed. I went into labor. I didn't learn it. And then once he was born, I made him like a very lopsided Mickey Mouse hat and took him proudly in it to Disney World. And now I laugh at it because it was my first project. Obviously, it wasn't like fantastic, but I was super proud of it, as we all should be of our first projects. And then I started making a lot of more props for my local photographers. It became a thing. I love newborn photography, and it was so much fun to be involved in that industry for quite a few years. And my story kind of has a really sweet start in terms of like, going from creating physical items to digital. I had a photographer make a special request by the time my second son was born. I had told everyone like I'm on maternity leave. I'm too tired, but she made a really special request that there was a little boy who was coming home from the hospital. They wanted an outfit that represented him, and he was about 8 days old, and he had some rare conditions, some undiagnosed at the time, and they didn't know what was going to happen. So we weren't quite sure how long baby Aiden might be with us, or he might, make it. It was very much parents' worst nightmare. So of course I created an outfit that I felt like would be fitting for baby Aiden. And I created a boxer outfit with little cute little gloves. It was red and white. I stayed up all night making it. And then I was like finishing up the ties on it as I walked in the front door for the photography shoot. And I got to meet baby Aiden and his mom. I'm proud to report that baby Aiden is striving. He, needs a lot of care, but he's such a smiley boy. I love seeing him on social media, and he's doing great. And once his newborn photo posted, the response I got from it was overwhelming. I was maxed out on my Etsy shop for that one outfit. There was no way I could fulfill all the orders. A lot of parents have been through having a premature baby, and there were a lot of people that wanted to gift the gloves to put on the crib in the NICU, which I thought was really cute. And I'm not a factory. I can't make it all. And I think I had expressed that in one of the crochet groups, asking if there were any other shops that wanted to like list this type of listing so that they could make some too. And I would try to tell them how. And someone said, well, why don't you write a pattern? And I thought, like, that's true. I never had. It probably wasn't great the first attempt I did at it. But that was a way for me to share that knowledge so others could create that cute little special outfit for their loved ones. And then it just took off from there. So yeah, my first pattern, my first take on it probably was similar to my first hat, where it was just like, I look back and I'm like, ugh, that was horrible writing. But I've gone back and revamped that pattern and fine-tuned it and fine-tuned my skills throughout the years, with a lot of help from the crochet community. And here I am today, full-time designer. Love it. Shame on my professor who told me I couldn't make crafting a real job. Because you can. It's really my real career, and it's fantastic, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. I am happy I didn't go into studio art or become like a tour guide at a history museum. Well, fun for a little while. I feel like that would get old. And how many tours do you really want to
Yeah.
give?
I was a tour guide at a local cave, and it got so boring after like the fifth time. And then, like, looking back, I feel like, oh, maybe I could have given a little bit more effort, but you're so bored of saying the same
Same
thing
things.
over and over.
I mean, I loved art history, and for a while I thought, well, maybe the dream job is to like be in a really cool art gallery with a lot of that art history. But I mean, I'm not going to move to the Louvre. I mean,
Right.
that's probably, and yeah, after a while, like, how much can you really say about one painting?
Yeah.
So I love this because it's not, painting sits on a wall for hundreds of years. This, I get fresh ideas all the time, and I
Yeah.
always have fresh ideas. I never run out of ideas. There's just, yeah, I dream in crochet.
Yeah. So, okay, obviously you're not still doing the baby props for
No.
or the baby photography and everything. You've branched out beyond that. You're making beautiful things and everything else. What's your favorite thing to make now? Like, are you loving the garments? Are you loving accessories? Kind of where do you go when your brain just starts to wander for the next design?
So I actually kind of envy. I really get a lot of envy when I'm on, Pinterest or Instagram, and I see the designers that they find their niche and they just nail it. And like their photos are so gorgeous and organized and themed really, really well. Whereas I feel like my personality is just like, I'm going to go to color work, and then I'm going to do cables, and then I'm going to do garments, and then I'm going to do blankets. I'm all over the place. I mean, my color range is all over the place. And I've learned to accept that as like, this is just me. This is where I look best. And when I don't have restrictions or boundaries that I put on myself to have like the perfect theme. So my theme is like hodgepodge, like just throw everything in. Let's go with it. The last couple of years, I've really loved garments. I've really, really loved garments. It's been a lot of fun. I think I will continue to do lots and lots of garments. I love making bags, and then color work, I think, will always be one of my loves. I love color work. But once again, it's just like I'll make a pillow, I'll make a sweater, I'll make a sweater dress. I'm very much like I want to do it all. And I think a lot of us can relate to that because I am willing to bet all y'all here right now don't just crochet. Like,
Right.
come on, let's look at your craft supplies.
Or maybe let's don't.
Yeah, that's true. Like, how many times did you do scrapbooking or bead making?
Right.
I do. It's just if you love crafting, you love crafting. And so
Yeah, you
same
get
thing
the
for me
bug.
with design. Yeah, I'm like I love it all. I love it all. It's so
Yeah,
much
I
fun.
do have to say that I really enjoy your color work mittens that are the unicorn, because you use the color changing yarn in there. So it was a great way, an introductory way to learn color work, but only using 2 yarns. Like, you didn't have
Just
to be
yes.
changing your colors all the time
Mm-mm.
and have all these ends and all these pieces to work with. That's a really great pattern if you guys are looking into getting into color work or trying it out, because you've got your main color and you've got your striping color that you can put together and you can learn those basics.
Yeah, Chroma is one of my favorites. I have some cowls on the website with Chroma. It does the hard work for you. It
Mhm.
does the hard you're only ever working with 2 strands, but you get, like, this gorgeous flow, and I love Chroma in how, like, the when you're switching colors and it's, like, fading from an orange to a red, it's not like orange red. It is
Right.
a very lovely fade. It's just this ombre that's happening. Chroma is one of my favorites. If you want impressive color work, Chroma is the way to go.
Yeah. Joy says, "Your mittens are sublime. I have several of the patterns. I
Aw.
couldn't agree more." And let's just branch off into what a phenomenal teacher you are and how you really think about ways to make the craft better. For instance, you came up with
Did, yeah.
infinity
Infinity
cable.
cables.
Is that right? I always
Yeah,
forget it.
yeah.
But it's a different way of doing cables so you don't have all the holes in it that you do. So it's more like knitting because it becomes more of into the fabric of your stitches as opposed to sticking above the fabric on your stitches. Maybe that's not the best way to
They
explain it,
pop.
but
They pop and they can cross faster. So sometimes we're limited by the way we can cross our cables and the way that they're worked, they can go at a more fast slant so we can really get a lot of different designs and we don't have any holes. Because
right.
that's the thing about cables and crochet is a lot of times there's holes. When sometimes I'll be filming a video and I was, maybe I should start saving some of these like unedited things because I'll be doing something on, just this is why I love pre-record because I feel like if I were to teach a class live, I would get distracted being like, wait a minute, isn't there a better way to do that?
Yeah.
I say that to myself all the time. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't like this. I don't like this edge. I don't like the way that let me think about this for a minute. And it's sometimes I really do want to ignore it. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's just the way it is. It is the way it is. Don't mess with it. Don't change it. It's been around forever. But then I'm like, but if I just did this, it would be better, I feel like. So I am always trying to find ways to do things differently. And I can't stop that. I can't stop my mind from doing it.
Right.
And this last year, I did it again for the last over a year. So I have some patterns online. I think the Arizona dress uses this stitch. These are on WeCrochet, and I have a hat, a knit pearl
Mhm.
hat. Just it was about a year ago, I think, when I was looking at my portfolio. I had it in my hands sooner than that. It's probably a year and a half, 2 years for me that I discovered if you did like a split single crochet, like a waistcoat stitch with a single crochet in the back loop only, it really mimicked that knit pearl look. And it really worked great for sweaters, for hats. And I just did a ton of patterns with it. I'm addicted to that look. And I every time I picked up the yarn to use it, I was like, but like, couldn't we do more? Like maybe I feel like we could do more with this stitch. And I would try and fail and try and fail. And there's so many, I can't even tell you how many times I would have like a deadline on something and I would find like something would creep up in my head, like, well, maybe if you did it this way. And I would spend like 2 hours and then just be like, ah, and toss the yarn. Like that didn't work out. That did not go my way. I'm never going to pick that up again. It's not possible. It's not possible. Leave it be. And then, I would just, I don't know, 2 a.m. I wake up going like, but what if, okay, I got to try that in the morning. I got to try that in the, like maybe. And then this earlier this year, whatever month that we're in, I cracked the code. And it was crazy because I sent a quick swatch to some of my testers and even they were like, what is this witchery? And
Yeah.
it was so simple. It's so funny how sometimes we're trying to look into something and we're making it like more than it needs to be. And the solution was right in front of me the whole time. I'm mimicking some stuff that we do in knit, but bringing it the concept to crochet, and the results are fabulous. And I launched that tomorrow.
Yes.
So
So we'll
yes.
have a link out to in our description once that page is all up and ready to go. But do you want to? Are we allowed to share the project?
Yeah. So this is what's really cool is there has not been a full sneak peek online yet. I've been hinting at it. So I want to show you, and I want to show you one that is super fun and also is going to cause you anxiety when you hear what I have to say, but not in a bad way. I promise it's easy to do. So this is a clutch using stitches that we've only ever really seen in knit. So these are some really fun wavy stitches. I did these ones a bit tighter. I'm going to show you another project where they're a bit looser, but for a clutch, I wanted it to be really tight. We don't want like things to fall through here. This holds my cell phone and is flat. However, whenever we do the waistcoat stitch, it's best in the round. I've tried, maybe I'll crack this code someday, but doing it in rows changes the look of that stitch so drastically. It really should be done in rounds to have this like gorgeous, gorgeous effect. And so what I did with these is I cut it. It's called steeking. We do it in knitting all the time. A lot of times knitters, they do not like working color work in rows, so they'll work a project in the round and cut it. And I know that probably gives you anxiety thinking like, oh my gosh, you cut your fabric. Not as scary as it sounds. I'll have some videos to show you how, but it's really simple to do. And then you can transform your fabric for other uses. And this is like, I'm telling you, I feel like this is better than a Coach clutch because it feels so luxurious. It's handmade. I absolutely adore it. And I throw my cell phone in here and I go places with this and I just feel like it's so classy. I mean, I could take this to like a black tie event. I love it so much. And I could take it to brunch too. So I'm going to show you one of the same stitch. Stay tuned for more stitches. And even after this course secret, I have even more stitches. Like it is just, now that I figured it out, they are flying out of my brain like crazy. But this is the same stitch on a bag. This uses Dishy as well. So both of these patterns use Dishy, which is a very affordable and fun yarn to use. I love it for bags and clutches because it's a cotton. It'll help hold shape. But look at those stitches. And before you say anything, this is not short rows. I do not like mimicking knit cables or knit stitches in crochet using short rows. I think they're confusing. I think they're difficult. I think they take a million steps and you lose your place and you need a billion markers. This is not that. This is so simple. This uses a combination of chains, single crochets, and split single crochet. That's it. It's just 3 stitches throughout the entire thing, worked in the round, and it creates this beautiful, beautiful effect. Now this is more like a lace stitch. Stay tuned because I do have some mock cables. They're absolutely stunning. Yeah, they look like knit and they have a beautiful fabric effect that we're not seeing in crochet yet. So this is something I've never seen in crochet. I checked with all my friends. They haven't seen it either. I promise. This is new. And this is more like a lace knit stitch, but this is crochet and super easy and super fun. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited about this.
It is absolutely phenomenal. So if they sign up for your emails today, they'll get an email tomorrow.
Oh yes.
And I keep coming out. We'll also throw a link in as soon as it's live so that you can learn how to do those stitches too. And you can grab your yarn and get started. I do want a quick look over here though. There was a comment from Julia about about your stockings. So here's another plug. Brianna and Marley put together a yearly stocking event with tutorials and everything else. It's color work. It's beautiful. The past 2 years have used City Tweed DK.
Yeah. So we do mimics. I do knit and crochet, and I will use the DK for crochet, and I'll use the worsted weight, the Aran weight for knit, and they work out perfect. We are addicted to that yarn. Marley and I are addicted to that yarn.
Yeah, so we'll also get you guys a link for that. We can throw that in there so you can check out those stockings if you're interested. Dawn said that the infinity cables was when she first started following you.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, Lee is also saying that she's addicted to crochet, but bounce around several works in progresses because she has a lace dress and it kills her to just work on them. So yeah, bouncing all over the idea. Let's see what else is in here. Beautiful clutch. Everybody's really liking the clutch.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Lee, the hardware for the clutch, where did you grab that?
So that is from Amazon, and tomorrow when I release, I'll have it in a supply list. Yep. So I'm going to be
Okay.
doing this. I don't want anyone to get scared. I really don't want anyone to get this is so like I promise I'll walk you through every step and you can do this and it's so simple. But for this course launch that will happen tomorrow, I'm going to walk everyone through 4 projects over the next 4 weeks. And it's on your own time. There's no pressure to complete everything within 1 week. The course is really about like you working it on your time, pause, rewind, ask questions. I really do find online stuff is so much better than in person at times because I can't ever retain information from a 2 hour course. Like I'll take a billion notes and it's so hard. And especially with something like this, I wanted to put it together really well where like I'm not going to lose you. I want you to stick with me. It's going to be super amazing. And I will walk you through that clutch. I did kind of have something in mind when I did the clutch. I did it this way for a reason intentionally is I'm going to get you to do this. I'm going to get you to do your steeking. I'm going to get you to cut your fabric because I have future uses for it down the road. And I feel like I've got to get you on a smaller project before I get you to cut a garment.
Yeah, I mean, and if you cut it and it doesn't quite work right, you haven't wasted all of your
No,
time. Even just start with a swatch and cut a
yeah.
swatch in half to just kind of give yourself that breath of fresh air of doing it. So,
It's not as scary as it looks. It's super and like things don't just start unraveling and flying everywhere, I promise. It doesn't
right,
just like poof everywhere and you're just like, no, things stay in place the way that this is done. They're not gonna like go crazy.
right.
But it's just a fun thing to do. And it's like anxiety inducing and also gratifying to cut. So we're gonna get it's worth it.
Hannah also says, amazing stitches. Brianna is such a clever
Uh,
designer. We totally agree. Yeah, she's one to follow. So make sure you're following her on social media and on other platforms. I want to give a shout out to my cardigan too. Maybe this side's better. Um, oh, what was this called? The comfy
comfy
cardigan?
cardi. Yeah, the
Comfy
comfy
cardi.
cardi.
So this is going to be up on the site soon. This is in
Hmm.
comfy worsted. I think you did yours in comfy color mist.
I did them in
Um,
2 yarns. See, I can't just stop at one. I did it in the color mist and then I did it in comfy worsted. I can
yeah.
help myself. I'm like, "Ooh, what would this look like in this?"
Yeah, but so it's got these really great stitch definition in here and just the texture. Mine is the puff sleeve. You could also do
Yeah,
it with a wider sleeve. Again, she wrote this pattern for a short version, a long version, a ribbed version, a non-ribbed version. So many choices to make it exactly
yeah.
what you want. So keep an eye out for this pattern. And guys, I will tell you a secret. This is going to be the yarn on sale next month.
Ooh,
So you could grab it now or wait a couple more days and you'll be able to grab this yarn on sale for our monthly yarn sale and grab this pattern as well. You're going to love it. I don't ever want to take this off. I was so sad when I made this and it was still warm outside and I was like really disappointed. But now it's finally cooling off a little bit so I
welcome
can
to my
show it
life
off.
all the time. It's warm here all the time.
Yeah.
Target is my winter. I wear this in
There you
Target.
go. Yes. When you live down south, that's kind of what happens. But
Yeah,
Um, so Julia said, "Steaking is relatively easy. It just takes a little courage for the first time." Very true. Start with a small project. It'll
mhm,
definitely ease your way into it. And you've
yeah,
got a wonderful coach to coach you through exactly what you're
yeah,
going to do so that you know what you're doing. So
yep,
thank you so much for joining us today. We put a bunch of links over in the chat. We're going to get those in the description when we're done with the video so that you can get all of the yarn, all of the patterns. We did put in the prancing all the way. Is that what it's called?
prancing through the
Prancing
holidays
through
or
the
prancing
holidays.
over, yeah, yeah,
We put the link in there, but we'll make sure that gets in the description too. That is for that stocking class that we were talking about. And we'll get the link for the new course that's coming out tomorrow so that you can sign up and start joining in on that fun. I can't wait to see that new course
so
and
exciting.
learn new stitches. That's the fun part. You think there's nothing new, and then somebody comes up with something
Yeah,
innovative, and it's just so much fun to get to try it
yeah.
out. So.
I love it. I this is why I love designers. They're always just like thinking about the next thing. And that's me. I'm like, "Ooh, now this is old. Now I'm doing this." Like, it's fun.
Awesome. So thank you so much. Thank you to everybody for
Thank
joining
you.
us live and being here. We'll see you next week for another fun live chat. And yeah, hope you have a great rest of your week and we'll see you next week.